ThunderCats, ho! Howdy, folks, and welcome to another behind-the-scenes sneak peek at my Saturday morning adventures mod. I'm Benton Gray, and I'm joined today by my own ThunderCat, the mighty Freya, who is insisting on doing this video with me. We're talking about my project, Saturday Morning Adventures, and this is my love letter to the classic cartoons of my youth. If you're of a similar vintage to me, then these classic Saturday morning cartoons, they probably were a big part of your childhood. They probably filled your days and your toy chests with a lot of really great memories, and were probably part of your imaginative makeup growing up. And that's certainly true for me. These are all stories that meant a lot to me, all characters and universes that I had and still have a great deal of affection for. This mod is sort of the chance to bring all these together, to give me a chance to tell stories and to bring these characters to life in all of these different universes, and to give players the chance to mix them all together and explore them and bring them to life in whatever combinations or ideas they want. And as my greeting and my background might indicate to you, today we're talking about one of my absolute favorites, the ThunderCats. This video is to provide a behind-the-scenes peek at the first ThunderCats mission of my campaign. And as I've said before, the idea of this mod is that each of these different settings, and you can tell from our splash screen here, a lot of what's going to be in the mod. Each of these different settings will have its own full-length campaign, and we're even going to have one crossover. And I'll go ahead and reveal that. It's going to be between ThunderCats and Silverhawks, which always felt like they should be connected. They were made by the same studio, Rankin Bass Entertainment, and even as a kid, I noticed these sort of feel like they should be taking place in the same universe. And so I've always wanted to bring these characters together and sort of see what would happen if you put these universes in conversation with one another. And this is obviously something that I'm not the only one who had this reaction. And there are a lot of folks who I think made that connection and who wanted that kind of crossover. We're actually getting that kind of crossover in the comics right now, as they've put out a ThunderCats versus Silverhawks story, although it's a bit more conflict than team up. And it's not quite the characters that we may remember. There goes my own ThunderCat. But this is something I've wanted to do for ages and ages. But I'm also going to feature an independent Silverhawks and an independent ThunderCats campaign. And this particular video is going to focus on the first mission of that standalone ThunderCats campaign, although they do connect to one another. Now, this is a setting that I particularly love. While this project began with the Ninja Turtles and my love of those characters and their wider universe and their mythos, probably the second factor, and the factor that was biggest in me putting together Saturday Morning Adventures as this sort of total combination of stories and combination of universes, was the ThunderCats. These are characters, and this is a setting that was tremendously influential for me. The ThunderCats had this tremendously well-drawn universe, this mythos that felt expansive and well-developed, and a world that felt fantastical and pretty different than anything else of the era. He-Man is probably the closest comparison in that it was also very fantastical, very magical, and sort of felt like anything could happen. But as much as I love He-Man as a kid, I felt like ThunderCats. It felt more of a piece. It felt more coherent within its own world. And we'll talk a bit about sort of what makes this setting and these characters special as we go. But it's, as I've gone back and sort of rediscovered these joys and these loves of my youth, ThunderCats I think holds up better than pretty much anything else. It had the same kinds of composition as the other shows of the era. 65 episode seasons and rapid production, and yet the standards seem to be often a little higher, and the writing stronger, the characterization definitely more thoughtful and more sophisticated. And one of the things that I think made this series so memorable and so fantastic is that the characters grow and they change over the course of the series. As much as I love the classic Ninja Turtles cartoon, Raphael is pretty much the same character at the end as he is at the beginning, and Leonardo and Michelangelo and Donatello are the same. Transformers, you see some growth, and G.I. Joe, you see some growth, but ThunderCats does sort of stand out in being one that where the characters develop and the world grows and changes, and even the status quo changes over the course of the series. And even as a kid, I remember just the fantastical, marvelous nature of this world, the relatability of the characters, Lino especially. We'll talk more about that when we jump into the mission. So this is probably the one of the pieces of this whole project that I've been most excited about. And I can't wait to share it with you guys. All right, well, let's jump in without any further ado. All right, welcome to my ThunderCats campaign by Jaga. We start our story in the Berbil village. You might recognize these cute little guys, the adorable robotic Teddybears, the Ro-Bear Berbils. Try to say that 5 times fast. These guys were friends and allies of the ThunderCats, and we find a raid by the villainous mutants in progress on these poor little guys. And Lino, fortunately, is here to intervene. So, Lino is the sort of main character of ThunderCats, the central protagonist. Uh-oh. And he is the Lord of the ThunderCats, as well as being... let's see if we can put him on ice. There we go. Trying to talk and play at the same time is always a dubious task. But Lino, the Lord of the ThunderCats, he is our main character, and as I said in the introduction, one of the things that's really fascinating about this series is he himself, he changes and grows. When the series begins, he's actually a child, and the ThunderCats are fleeing from their destroyed homeworld, and I really love that, and I love that I was able to put that in that sort of classic symbol in the game the way I did. It turned out actually pretty happy. So, as I said, Lino was just a cub, just a child, when they had to flee their destroyed homeworld and head to Third Earth, their new home. And he is in cryosleep, and he actually his pod malfunctions, and so his body ages during the trip, while he himself is still a child, essentially. He's... Uh-oh. Things are getting rather grim. Let's see if the Eye of Thundera can do something about this. There we go. Get a little distance here. These mutants are proving tough. There we go. And just in time, we have the rest of the ThunderCats coming as reinforcements. Panthro, Tygra, and Cheetara. Now, we'll see the rest of the team, the Thunder Kittens and Snarf, in later missions. But the sort of core 4 members, the adults, I wanted them to be in the first mission, show off what they could do a little bit, give players a chance to try each of them out. Here we get our first sense that there might be something sort of strange about this adventure as the mutants are attacking the Berbil village. All right, so as I was saying, the first episode features Lino as a child, and he grows physically, but is still essentially a boy in an adult's body. And so he's this powerful warrior. He's got the Sword of Omens, this really tremendously powerful artifact that can do a lot of different things. And can inspire the rest of the ThunderCats. It's a very powerful weapon in its own right. And one of the cool things in the series is that he grows and develops and grows up and matures in the first season and really throughout the series. And so he's got this warrior's body, but he's still a child. So he's impetuous, he's rash, he's foolish and naive at times, and you see him actually grow up, and the audience gets to sort of do that with him, which is, I think, part of what makes ThunderCats sort of unique. We'll talk about the other core characters here as we continue our mission. So let's investigate here. We got some Berbils in cages. What's going on? Now, you may recognize that these mutants are not 3 main mutants who you may remember from the cartoon. These are rank-and-file soldiers, warriors, serving those guys. And we'll talk about what's going on with them in a little bit. Uh-oh. Come on, Cheetara.
Right.
So I've just had Tygra create an illusion. You can see it right there. This is something that he had the ability to do in the show. Uh-oh. Jackman managed to poison Lino.
By the forces of right.
It was draining for Tygra, but he had the ability to sort of fool the minds of his foes. And I got to recreate that ability in the build that he had for the mod. There we go. Alright, with them out of the way, let's free our Berbil friends. And we'll talk a bit about the rest of the ThunderCats. So, one of the things that I think, as I said, makes this series so beloved and so unique is that the characters get a lot of development, and they feel oftentimes more well-rounded and more more sort of understandable as full characters than a lot of other heroes from Saturday mornings. So let's talk about the 4 ThunderCats. We've talked about Lino a bit already. He's our hero. He's got the Sword of Omens, and I tried to capture what the Sword of Omens could do, but there's 1,001 different powers that it displays over the course of the cartoon. So I've had to sort of pick some of the highlights for him. He's got a powerful beam and a cone attack, and he has the ability to use the capture claw of the claw shield, tie foes up. Cheetara, of course, is our fastest of the ThunderCats. She has super speed, and she has a bow staff that can do a lot of different kinds of things. I mostly focused on her speed for her build. She's a pretty fascinating character in her own right. She's this really excellent, strong female character in an age where we didn't have a lot of those. And she's treated as very much the equal of the male characters. And yet she's still feminine, she's still very much a sort of her own character. Tygra, I think he's actually probably one of the least developed of the ThunderCats. He's the architect and the inventor, sort of the scientist of the group. So much so that I actually thought about giving him discipline to resist mental attacks, but in the show, one of the things that does get developed about him is he's got some weaknesses. He actually sort of struggles with addiction from time to time and self-doubt. And nonetheless, I felt like he was the one that he definitely has a character, he definitely has a personality, but I think it's one of the less clearly developed from all of them. But he has a whip called his Bolo Whip, which gives him some ranged power. He can tangle folks up with it. He can launch fireballs with it, which is pretty cool. He's sort of the ranged hero of the group. And Panthro is our last of the four. He is very much my favorite of the bunch. He was always just the coolest of the ThunderCats. He had just this cool aesthetic, this very neat look, this almost like martial artist Bruce Lee vibe with his fighting sticks. And
Prepare for some pounding.
he could do a lot of different things with these as well. He can shoot freeze blasts, he can shoot fire, he can shoot acid, so he's also pretty versatile. But he was always I think, the strongest of the ThunderCats and the one who seemed just hyper competent. Definitely sort of felt like he was always cool-headed and sort of cool under pressure. He was the engineer, the mechanic, sort of hands-on character of the group. All right, well, let's continue our adventure. We've discovered the Berbil village under attack, and we check our objectives. We've discovered the first group of captured villagers and freed them. We know there's a second one somewhere, and we've got saboteurs attacking the village. So we've got to get into the village center and see if we can find and defeat those guys. We've also got some secondary objectives. We want to make sure we don't let any of the Berbils get hurt, of course. We want to defeat all of the mutants. And we want to make sure that the village is still standing for the poor Berbils once we're done. One of the abilities that Cheetara had in the show is precognitive abilities, her sixth sense. And we've captured that a little bit here in the mod as well. She can get glimpses of what might be going on around her. Now, that tells us, gives us a lot of information. We don't always know how to interpret it, so it's a lot like her visions, that we know there's probably folks this way, but we'll have to see exactly who they are and where they are and what they're doing by exploring. All right. Here are the saboteurs that the objectives talked about. Interesting, it seems to be designed to draw the ThunderCats out. I wonder what might be going on. We get our sense that there might be more here than meets the eye, that there's probably something afoot beyond just this attack. Alright, now this is one of the toughest parts of the mod, so bear with me as I try not to blow it.
Where do you want me?
Alright. So you can keep them busy, Cheetara.
Right.
Oh, darn it. broke
Don't
off
mess
too
with
early.
the best. Right.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Oh, of course, something I forgot. Tygra has the ability to go invisible thanks to his, there we go, his whip. He's still up and shooting. I hear it. Oh, there we go. Let's see if we can get Cheetara to deal with that. Looks like he's not making much headway, so that's good. Oh, that's one way to get him down. Oh! And it made us fail that part of the mission too, unfortunately. There we go. Okay, so our mystery continues. We've taken a bit of damage. Let's see if we can't get some health. There's a health there. So I mentioned earlier that you'll notice that our villains here are not the sort of three main everyday villains of the cartoon show, the mutants. These are the rank and file, the sort of soldiers of the mutants. One of the things that's interesting about the classic show is they had, especially in the early episodes, an army, and every once in a while you would see this army of mutants that had followed the ThunderCats and gotten stranded on Third Earth with them as well. They sort of fade as the series goes, but every once in a while they're still there. And this gives me a perfect, set of cannon fodder for the mod, because you don't want to just have the three main mutants. So I'm saving them for a later episode. We'll see them in a bit, but we'll actually face them later on. And one of the things that I really love about this is, for a lot of the shows I'm adapting, I'm having to do some tweaking to create some greater internal consistency, to sort of do some world building and some strengthening the mythos to make them a little bit stronger in premise. But with ThunderCats, what I need is pretty much already built in here, which is pretty good. Alright, get out of here.
Order. Ready to serve. What is it? This is gonna hurt. Where do you want?
Panthro is taking a beating here.
Looks like I gotta hammer some sense into you. Prepare for some pounding.
There we go. Oops. Still don't have them all. There we go. Alright. So as I was saying, Ninja Turtles, I love the original cartoon, but it often can be a little silly, and so I, in my mod, try to sort of fill in some of the gaps and make it make a bit more sense at times. With ThunderCats, I felt like it was pretty much ready to roll in its setting from the start. All right, now here are our three mutants, the sort of main everyday antagonists of the show. And we find that they've trapped the last of the Berbils on the edge of town, but fortunately the ThunderCats are here to help. And we have a standoff. What's this? The plan. Remember the plan? I wonder what the plan might be. So we get some further senses that there's more going on here than meets the eye. And our antagonists run off, leaving their minions to fight the battle in their stead. ThunderCats ho! You may recognize some of these guys here. Ro-Bear Bill and Ro-Bear Bell, the two Ro-Bear Berbils, who were the sort of main leaders of the village. Alright. There we go.
Where do you want me? By the forces of right.
All right. And that brings us to the end of our mission. So you may recognize some of the music you've heard in the background here. This is all music from the classic cartoon, which had a fantastic soundtrack, just really dramatic and sort of thematic music. Our heroes here debrief with Ro-Bear Bill and Ro-Bear Bell, and at the end of each ThunderCats episode, there would be this moment like this, where they were sort of unpacking what they had experienced, and the track for those moments is this one, which is called Lessons, which was sort of delightful. So I've got the same kind of moment I've created here. And here, though, we're discovering that, maybe our suspicions about the fact that this attack doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense, that maybe there's something else going on, seem to be true. All right, and that brings us to the end of our first ThunderCats adventure, but far from the end of the story. So in future adventures, we'll, of course, encounter Mum-Ra himself. He's our big bad. I probably won't surprise you by saying that, and I also probably won't surprise you by saying that what's going on does have something to do with him and his plots to get his hands on the Eye of Thundera. We'll encounter the three main mutants. There'll be sort of secondary antagonists. We'll also face off against Safari Joe, a sort of memorable big game hunter character from the original cartoon. Mongor, this creepy demon, sort of preys on fear, and a host of other characters, including some supporting cast, Monkeyan, and I am going to try to incorporate Mandora, the Evil Chaser. I've got materials for her. I've already built her. It's just a matter of figuring out exactly how she fits into the story. I've got the ThunderCats campaign mapped out. I've got it partially written. I know the major beats. Figuring out some of the details still. But that map you just saw is Commander Koenig's awesome medieval village map. I tried to create some materials for the actual sort of mushroom houses of the Berbils, and both Dean Joe and Random Days were kind enough to try to help me with that, and I couldn't get them to quite work right. So I still hope to create a more customized visual for that, but at the moment I thought this worked well enough to tell the first story. Speaking of art, as always, the art assets were created by the tremendously talented members of the Freedom Force community. I think in this batch we've got Dean Joe's skins, Cranlock's importing some objects, and Random Days as well, and helping with rigging and style in scoping. And their work is just fantastic. I'm always blown away by it. Especially when I go and tweak things and I sort of dig into the stuff under the hood, and I see what ridiculous efforts they took to create these pieces, and the creativity they took to cobble them together out of the available art assets it's incredible. So that is your behind-the-scenes glimpse at the first ThunderCats mission. I hope that this was interesting to y'all. As I said at the beginning, I am so excited about this one, and I'm really excited to share it with y'all. I hope that you'll let me know if you enjoyed this, if you have any questions, if you've got any comments about builds or balancing, if there's any characters you particularly want to see. I'm always looking for folks to help with these projects, so if you want to try your hand at map making, or if you just want to listen or watch the cartoons and occasionally press record on an audio recorder app to get some voice clips for voice packs, that would be awesome. I have my hands full with my full-time job, my career, and writing and creating and balancing and testing and doing all the other stuff that I do for these mods. I would love to have voice packs for all of these characters, but I don't have the time to go through and gather all the voice clips. But I hope to hear from all of y'all, and I hope you had a good time with this video. Until next time, take care.